Welcome back to another episode with ByrdAdatto. Today we're going to be concentrating on the SBA and some changes that happened again with the PPP program. We've shot a ton of videos already on that, so we're not going to go into every aspect of it. But one of the big changes is on June 2nd, so just recently, the President signed a new update, which is the Paycheck Protection Flexibility Act. Some people are calling it the PPFA, or some people calling it PPF. Either way, what happened was, as a lot of you know, is that a lot of questions were, what can you do with the funds, the PPP funds, once you get them? And now we have an update based on this new act that just passed. And for those of you who are Access Plus members, remember, we're going to do an entire webinar on this on Wednesday, hit higher, a lot more details. Today, Michael, we're just going to cover three big issues that changed. So let's kind of jump into it right now. The first one has to do with the covered period. Originally in the PPP, it was only 8 weeks. What's the new update now for those who are following this area?
This is the biggie, and this is the one that has caused the biggest problem over the past, well, ever since it passed, but as now goes up to 24 weeks. And so, as a refresher, to be the forgiven amount was defined originally by how the money was spent from the date that your PPP funds hit your account, and then for the following 8 weeks. And the government has now changed that to, with this new bill, to extend to 24 weeks. So it creates a huge runway for all these offices that have been closed during the time period.
So, Michael, another big issue that we've been talking a lot about is the 75-25 rule. And now there appears to be a shift in that rule also.
Yeah, so a big stressor has been this idea that the 75% of the funds had to be, of the amount forgiven that you applied for, had to be used for payroll. And so many had complained that there was other businesses saying that there were needs that made this impossible, especially when they're closed. And so there's been a shift. Now, I will give a caution to everyone. It's not apples to apples. It's not 75 to 60. The rule before was 75% of the amount that you applied for forgiveness had to be used for your payroll. And now the new rule is that 60% of the amount you borrow has to be used for payroll. And so it actually, if there's any negatives to this whole thing, there are some people concerned that this could end up wiping some people out from being able to get any forgiveness.
Right, and they're calling this a cliff, unlike the other one, meaning this is a hard spot where they're holding everyone at that 60% rule. And the next one, which has to do with those who don't get forgiven now, which this leads us to the next big highlight, is that it used to be that you would have 2 years to pay back. And what changed on that, Michael?
So they've extended it to up to 5 years. For those who already have the loan, they'll need to work it out with the bank. It's not an automatic. And then for any new PPP funds that are applied for, it will be a 5-year term. And so, we have cautioned or encouraged our clients to remember first and foremost with this money that prioritize their business first and forgiveness second. And so if there are funds that have to be deemed a loan, the terms have even gotten more favorable as far as the timeline to pay it back.
Right. So there's a lot more that came with that, but for today we just want to hit those three big ones. Like I said, for Access Plus members who are watching this today, don't forget we have a webinar on this where we're going to go into much heavier detail, spend an entire hour on what's happening now with this new update. But that's all the time we have today. Good to see you, Michael.
Good to see you.
And until the next time.